Welcome to the Hot Rod Hangout Podcast. I'm Matt, and today we got a special guest. What's going on, Mr. Dalton Sumner?
How you doing, Matt?
Oh, just living a dream down here in hot-ass Florida. Probably not much cooler up there in Georgia, but maybe a little bit.
Oh, no, we've been getting beat by rain, and the humidity is hot, cold, sweat.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it rains and cools it off for about 5 minutes, and then as soon as the sun comes back out, you get twice as hot.
Oh, yeah. It's miserable.
So what originally got you into this crazy car obsession?
Man, so you had Psycho Simmons on your podcast a few weeks ago,
Yes,
and my story originates all through him. I got 100% props to him. I started off as a freshman in high school, riding around on a four-wheeler looking for ponds to fish. And he had this nice little pond behind his house, and I just pulled up one day, and he had known my dad from years and years ago. And we always knew him as just some crazy psycho dude. But no one knew he was in the car, or I didn't know he was in the cars. I just knew, oh, man, they call this dude psycho. He must be weird. But he had a really nice pond behind his house, and I just wanted to fish it. So I went and knocked on his door. I was like, hey, man, can I fish this pond? And he was like, yeah, have at it. So I started fishing it for probably a month or two, and he injured his back and needed some help around the shop. And I was like, well, man, I don't know nothing about working on cars. It's whatever I can help you with, I have no problem helping you. And it just took off from there, just being around his shop and seeing the crazy things he was doing and just building just sick cars was really just what got me into it. And I started just being around there. I eventually become an apprentice under him for paint and body, and just started going to shows and getting into it. And yeah, it just took off from there.
Very cool, very cool. So I know you're young, but is there a car that you got rid of or a car that you had an opportunity to buy that, you just couldn't make a deal happen? Is there a car that got away?
There's a truck. There is a truck that got away, and I really regret it. It was my dad had bought a Honda Shadow and ended up trading it for a 97 Nissan Hardbody.
Okay.
And I got rid of it right before I started working with Psycho. And keep in mind, I wasn't even 15 years old, but being in South Georgia, my dad would just throw me the keys and say, hey, take the trash off. And it being a stick shift truck and me not knowing how to drive, I learned how to drive on it. And it was just a fun little truck. And now knowing what I know now is it would have been a really nice mini truck.
Yep.
And they're actually climbing up in value. So I really wish I hadn't traded it for a ratty Silverado 1500.
Yeah.
That ended up having to get sold for $1,000 because it had so many problems.
Yeah, we all make those mistakes, man.
It definitely was the one that got away. I missed that truck. If I ever get the chance to get another hard body, I'm gonna hop on it.
Do you know where the truck went? Like, is it still around or?
So we traded it to a dude in our same town, and within a week it was just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Wow.
Can't find it.
Damn it, man. Yeah, that's kind
it
of
was
the
a
story
fun
of my
truck.
S10. Me and my dad built a little S10, and I didn't show enough interest in it, so when he ran out of time to work on it, it had to get gone. And I located the truck, but by the time I had made it back to it, it wasn't the same truck anymore. It had been front clipped, and it just wasn't the same truck anymore. So I was like, and the guy wanted way more money than it was worth just because he knew the story.
Yeah, a lot of people hear the sentimental value for things, and they're like, "Oh, well, this $2,000 vehicle is now $10,000." I'm like, no, I like it, but not that much.
Yes, sir. So, unlimited budget. What you building?
I actually have my dream build, and I guess it's an unlimited budget, as much money as the bank will loan me.
10-4.
But it's a 1973 Buick Riviera, the boat tail.
Okay. Is
And
that the one that's sitting in Psycho's place?
yes, it's at Sacco's right now.
Okay.
And I actually took a small personal loan from the bank to get it, and I'm paying that loan off right now. But hopefully within a month or two it'll be paid off, and I'm gonna start putting dang near all my extra money into it. But full lowrider, kind of similar to Psycho's Lincoln.
Okay.
Just crazy off the wall with it. It's it's gonna be really nice. So with you being down in Florida, I'm sure you grew up watching like Miami Vice or played GTA Vice City.
Yep.
And that's the theme of the car.
Okay.
That's
cool.
going to be the theme of it. And I think this is actually the first time it's going public with that. So I've been trying to keep that on the hush, but just certain things you can't just
there's only 12 people that listen, so we're good.
I don't know, man. I've seen some of your views.
Yeah, we do all right, man. We have a large support. It's weird. I always say that. Like, it's weird that people. Matter of fact, one of our listeners just wrote me. I just got back from a Cali trip, and Montana, Idaho, California road trip. But one of our listeners had wrote and was like, "Hey, man, I was in a hardware store of some sorts up there in Illinois," and he's like, I was wearing my shirt, and I was like, "Yeah, cool, man, thanks." And he's like, "Yeah." A guy walked up and went, "Hey, I listen to them." And I'm like, there ain't two of y'all in the same town. Come on now. But it is really weird the support that gets behind, and then I don't know if you've listened to the latest episodes, but we are now entered into a build-off with the gentleman that invited me on the road trip and the other podcast that kind of helped us get started, and he was also on the road trip with us for West Coast Customs Cruising Nationals next year. So,
oh wow,
my Model A, not conventional custom, but my Model A is gonna get finished for that. And I'm driving it the 2,624 miles from my door to there for the show. And I'm hoping Psycho can make it. He had mentioned about going, but 14 days away from home, kind of, you got to be a little.
Yeah, the budget kind of open up.
Yeah, but super excited about that, and it was a bucket list show. I'd never been to West Coast Customs. I'm kind of that Florida boy. I've been all over the country with my mom and dad doing what they did prior to me starting school. But we go to Florida shows, maybe dip into Georgia a little bit. You got Maggie Valley and stuff like that. But to be able to go to a true West Coast show,
yeah,
you don't think that's ever going to happen. And I had that opportunity, and then when I got there, I was like, "These are my people." Like the car culture out there is a completely different thing. It's all family.
That's with me being around Psycho and being as into lowriders as we are. That's one of the dreams, is to actually go to Cali or to Texas and be around these guys who have some really sick lowriders.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it's a whole different. Like here, we say like, "Oh, y'all have nice cars and all this and that," but like out there, they live it. They don't care who you are. We got invited to a house party and walked in like we had known these people for years. It was an awesome time.
But yeah, the hospitality that the car community gets over there is. I mean, I'm only living it through Instagram, but from what I see, it's nice.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's just. It creates, like, even the little kids. We one of the cars that we took was a 51 Woody Country Squire, and there was a little kid, probably maybe 6 to 8. Oh, that's a Ford Woody wagon, and I'm like, how in the, like, they know their cars, they know cars, and it's like, it was weird because it's like, yeah, I know it's a Woody, but I'm also 35. I've been in this for a long time. So.
And so when you got an 8-year-old walk by your car,
oh yeah. So
it's like you said, it's a whole nother world over there. That's definitely on my bucket list to go, which I haven't really been able to hit too many shows due to just work and life. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you're young, you got to be able to do this.
No.
I'm like, I also got bills already, so
you get there, man. Trust me. That was that was kind of what this all was started for. Was I just wanted this to be able to finance some of the fun. And
that's the dream. That's the dream for a lot of people. So for you to be taking off and getting as much traction as you are, it's really good to see, because it not only is it good for you, but it gives hope to other people.
Well, and me and Ashley still work full-time jobs. I mean, it's not like I got to quit my job and I get to play with cars all day. I mean, obviously that's the dream.
Yeah, that's the goal.
But that's not, very few people get to fully do that. And, it's cool to be the guy on, social media that is showing, like, you don't have to have a giant shop. I have a carport. You don't have to, leave for a month to go chase these car shows. Like, it's okay to miss a show. It's okay to not be able to afford that part this week and go, yeah, I really want that part and I need that part, but I gotta save up for a couple paychecks to go get it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the boat I'm going to be in for probably a year or so.
Or trading off stuff, or you got kind of an ace in the hole with Psycho, is you can kind of trade some labor off for some help.
Yeah, he helps me out a lot, and the way he is pretty much, if he can't do it, he has a best friend who can do it, or he's got a really close friend that can do it. Yep. So I get a lot of deals cut my way, and I mean, for that, like you said, ace in the hole. It was like, dang, I really met the right guy and got into the right thing.
Oh, I mean, I talked to him on a podcast and was in his driveway the next morning. I mean, it was good times.
Yeah, I think I actually rolled up on you that day.
Yep.
Just stopping by the shop.
Yeah, we had recorded the night before late, and I was like, hey, man, you still planning on going to that junkyard? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what time? And he's like, I think it would be this time. I'm like, all right, well, give me your address. I'll ride up, because I was off for Good Friday. So,
thank you.
So it was like, all right, yeah.
It just worked out.
Yep. So what's a show or event that you do try to make every year?
So I really try to make that show Play Loud that Psycho was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, Kent Daniels, big shout out to him. That show should be a lot bigger than it already is. It's a really good cause. It's right down over the line, the Florida-Georgia line. I try to go support that show a lot. And then I haven't really been to no big shows. Like I said, I've been trying to make it to Battle in Bama for the past 3 years. Yeah. But every time I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to take off and shoot down there this way, something comes up. Like just this past year, I mean, it was a week or two ago, Battle in Bama?
Yeah, last weekend.
Yeah, and so I work night shifts. I work 2:30 in the afternoon to 11 o'clock at night. So I'm rolling up Friday night to my house, and I got a pit bull that stays outside. I'm rolling up, and I clipped my own dog, and he's okay. He went to the vet. He's healing up great, but it was, dang, I just ran over my son. I need to stay here this weekend and check it out with him. But had that not happened, I was going to shoot the Battle in Bama. So I was like, dang, another year I got to miss out on this really nice show. But like I said, something always comes up. I was going to go to Slam Fest, and the hurricane ruined it this past year.
Yeah, pushed to December.
Yeah, and then I already had family obligations for December. So I was like, dang.
That was what happened to us. And I mean, we live an hour from there, and, we were all set to go in October. And then problems with the build, and then problems And then the hurricane come, and it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Well,
yeah, that hurricane, especially Helene, that hit us in South Georgia.
Yeah, that was.
It was. I'm out in these sticks. Like if you think Psycho's out in the country, I'm out in these sticks, and I was out of power for almost 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I was sitting here. I was like, it's really hot. All my food's going bad. I ain't got a generator.
We were out. We were out for like 2 weeks, but my truck was the only one that could get out of our yard. Our yard wasn't flooded, but the road itself was flooded. So my truck was the only one that could get in and out.
Mm.
So yeah, it was. And then what was the one before that hurricane? The one that went up into Milton.
I want to say yeah, it was Milton and Helene that hit.
Yeah, the second one just hit us. The first one kind of wrecked y'all and up into.
Yeah, I want to say that was Helene that went all the way up to like North Carolina.
Then it was Milton. Helene missed us because it kind of went up more into the armpit, but Milton went right over top of us then, and that was the one. We were out for about 2 weeks, but it was like I said, our yard itself was good, but the road was flooded and like couldn't get.
The funny story on that is the company I worked with actually ended up sending us generators. But by the time that it got to my shop,
y'all had power.
I had already lost all my food. All my AC was still just out. So as soon as I got it hooked up, like the next day, my power come back on. So I was like, wow. I literally had a night of a generator.
Yeah. But everything happens for a reason. I mean, you go through stuff in life, and stuff happens for a reason. You weren't supposed to go apparently this year.
Yeah, I'm a faithful man. I'm a devout Christian, so I mean I don't really practice it the best, but I know God's always got a plan for everything. So if it's in His will, it's in His will.
Damn for well. Speaking of Play Loud show, I need to get a hold of him so he can come on. We can make that show bigger.
Dude, I mean, Kent is a good guy. I mean, I believe he stays up in Atlanta right now, but he's got family all through down here in Georgia and North Florida, and he is a really solid guy. Good people.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get a hold of him because we need more shows like that. That kind of I don't want to say the hidden shows, but the smaller shows that mean something.
Yeah, and his is just entry fee is school supplies.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And it's something just as simple as that. I mean, I know a lot of the shows, between the shows I do, Psycho does, and Kent does, I know for a fact we always go in the negatives out of pocket to do these shows.
Same with ours.
And no one ever sweats it. It was just cool. If I got to spend $1,000 to put a show together, I'm going to spend $1,000 to put a show together.
That was we struggled with that last year because we did the Hangout, our anniversary / podcast show, and people, why are you charging this much? And it's like, because I have to pay for insurance. I have to pay for the venue. It's $1 million insurance to have it where we have it.
Now, the shows you do when you're doing your online promoting, how many people do you have fall for them Facebook, registration scams?
So I learned last year we struggled. We would go in and immediately delete them and everything like that. I have now figured out how to stop it, where I wish that it would trigger real people being able to post, but it doesn't. So I have to go in and approve everybody that posts, which kind of makes it slow to get the community behind. Like people want to post their cars or like, hey, I'm coming, who else is going? And I have to go in and approve it. Well, sometimes I don't see it in time, or I don't see it in a timely manner. So it's like 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, and especially with Facebook, because some stuff just don't load.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I have it where you have to have, I can post, Ashley, my wife, can post, and then I set it up for any of the sponsors. They can post. But if you're not one of
You
them
have to
people,
you have to show me how you set that up, because
yeah, I
last
will.
year I ran into that problem with my show. I had a guy, he called all upset. He was from like the county over. He was like, "Hey, I already cashed out this guy $25." I was like, "Sir, it's a cash only show." I'm like, "If you still want to come, you know, cool, we'll let you in. Just go ahead and
No,
show." Because there's only that one guy. I was
yeah,
like, he was like, "No, I just want a refund. I ain't making it now." I was like, "Sir, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do."
yeah. Well,
But
we had, and also if you get a community around your show, they'll police it too. So like
that's a
somebody would post, and I may not got I may not have gotten the so and so posted, but I would get one of my buddies commented scam, and I'd be like, scam, go on there and be like, oh, okay, there it is, delete that guy or delete that post.
yeah.
But you can't catch all of it, and then also comments, you can't get rid of the comments, so they can still
Yeah, see,
they can still
that's
put it in the
usually how they get
comments.
us.
Yeah, but
But,
I just try to
but
make it
this
in big
year,
bold letters saying, hey, this is, we do pre-registration. The only place to pre-register is on Facebook or our website. It's better just to go to our website, because if you do it on our
yeah,
website, then you get an email confirmation the second you hit pay. It's... So what is a show
yeah.
or event that you have never been to that you would like to go to?
So I want to go to a lowrider super show, and I know Tampa just had one recently,
Yeah.
but once again couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go to a real lowrider show, just because, man, when they come out to play, they come out to play at them shows, and it's just even getting ideas on my own build, going there and seeing, oh well, they did this instead of that. I like this. Let me incorporate this on my build, and just like I said, when they come out to play, they come out to play. Another show I really want to make, which is kind of fun. It just happened. Also, I want to go to Rick Ross's car show.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
seen pictures from Zach Pennock was there, and that car is stupid dope.
Yeah, it's once again that some big shot callers come out to play on that one, and yeah, just fun. I like fun shows too. I'm not opposed to pulling up at the Dairy Queen around a bunch of little, just pretty much what do you call it, the purists. I like hanging around the purist cars, but the dream shows be Rick Ross, Lowrider Super Show, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm sure once I get my own build rolling in the streets, I'll find a lot more shows. I've always wanted to go to Maggie Valley. Never made it to that one. I have friends that actually go to it, and they love it up there. Mini Nats, I believe that's in Maggie Valley too.
Yep.
Mini Nats is I want to go to it, and just like shows like you're talking about. You're going to West Coast Customs. That would be really, really cool to go hang around that shop that I watched on TV growing up.
Well, it's a different West Coast Customs.
It's different.
That's West Coast Customs with a C. This is West Coast Customs with a K.
I mean, you got me looking stupid on the podcast.
No, it's I was under, whenever I first heard it, that's what I thought too. I was like, they do like new stuff. No, this is pre-65, pre-war. You got bombs, lowriders.
I love a bomb. That was a
49 to 54 Chevys on lock, which is cool because Ashley's got a 54.
Well, I guess you just gave me another bucket list show with a different West Coast Custom, so add that to the list.
Yeah, so it is. They do a cruise on Friday night, and then they do the show on Saturday, and then they do drive over awards. So you actually get in your car and drive over the slab to get your trophy if you won something. So,
oh wow, that's really cool.
So the gentleman that invited us, he has a 55 Crown Victoria that's he won a mild custom award. The podcast that helped us, Hometown Hot Rodder, shout out to Brian. He's still going to lose in the build off, but shout out to him anyway. He's the one that had started that car. He had designed that car, did the suspension and stuff like that on it, and then Ken ended up with it, and they painted it and did a candy flake roof, and and he was going to put Supremes on it, but the Supremes were the wrong offset, so he ended up still having the chrome reverse wheels that Brian had on it. But, so those two guys, obviously Ken owns the car, so it's Ken's trophy, but both of those guys had a hand in that car, so they won something. Brian owns a shop. Ken and his guys, they build stuff all the time, and then it's just me. So I get to outsource some of my work. So hopefully I'll have some Psycho Fab paint work done on the car, and he's still working. We got some stuff that the internet doesn't completely know about yet for how we're doing the suspension on the car. So he'll be able to give me a little bit of insight on that. We're just kind of scooping up some parts. I got cool people in my corner. So,
has Psycho told you about the man, the myth, the legend, Gary Pounds?
I don't think so.
Gary Pounds, it's a Sinister Stitches custom upholstery. That man can do some wicked stuff with interior.
Oh, the problem with interior or upholstery on this car is there's no windows. So I don't have a whole lot of leather upholstery. Most of my interior is metal. So
I see the confliction there.
I have one piece of the interior is going to be leather, and that's the seat bottoms, and I already have them. They're already upholstered.
Yeah. But for any other build, Gary Pounds.
Definitely.
Gary Pounds, man.
The way it's kind of looking like it's going to lay out is this isn't going to be a one and done. I think we're going to kind of migrate shows. So, like, next year it'll be West Coast Customs. The following year may be Custom Car Revival up in Indianapolis. Like, I don't think it's going to be a one-off thing. Or it may be West Coast Customs every year. It'll just depend. This car, I think I'm the only one. Well, Ken's truck's probably, he's going to want to keep it too. But like my car, obviously, it's everything's for sale. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not planning to take it out there to sell it. We each have a different kind of reason for wanting to do it. Brian owning the hot rod shop, he wants to, put his name out there and say, hey, we can do this. So bring us your stuff so we can make your stuff cool.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is just a friendly competition, though. I mean, we're going to win, but I want them to do that too.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. There's always friendly competition in it.
Yeah. So
do y'all have any side bets going on the competition?
No, it's basically what we're trying to do is with me and Brian and with the podcast, we're just trying to grow it. It's always been like a friendly competition, but we've never really competed against each other. Like, I'll say his name on the podcast. He'll say our name. We do live stuff. I'll share his stuff. He'll share mine. Like, it's at the end of the day, we're friends, but I've also ended podcasts with fuck hometown hot rodder. So,
oh yeah.
He was on an episode while we were out there. We did one on scene and, on site, and at the end of the podcast, we both have some of the same sponsors, and he was like, "Oh, F that guy," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And he's like, "All right, well," I was like, "Get out before you get out of here, get out and drive your shit." And he's like, "Yeah, go check out Hometown Hot Rodder." I was like, "Fuck Hometown Hot Rodder," and he's like, "You better not take that out." I'm like, it's not. It's staying in there. It's just it's a great group of friends. So
that's our little tight knit group now. I know some people have heard me, just talking shit to Psycho, and they're like, well, you said that to him? I'm like, man, it's almost like I mean, don't get me wrong, he's really good to me, but Psycho is like that other, father figure in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where everything he taught me is I can bullshit with him and he gets it. So I mean, I feel what you're talking about. Hold on.
Well, I had never physically met Brian before he picked me up. Before him and Ken picked me up at the Missoula airport in Montana. Like, I had never physically in person met him.
Yeah, but shook hands.
Yeah, and literally get off the plane. Hey, man, give him a big hug. Like we'd known each other for years. And then, like I said, 10-day road trip, camping in vintage campers. There was some ups and downs. Me and him were very irresponsible in the 55 and had to make the rest of the cruise with no air in the airbags because we were playing with the switches too much. But hey, it happens. And the Woody, overheating, God bless it, it's still a 74-year-old flathead motor that made 80 horse factory, and it was still in there pulling a camping trailer. So it did end up giving up the ghost, but it made it back to Montana before it did it. So, just that's the stuff that I would have missed if I'd have just flew to Bakersfield and they'd have picked me up and I'd have went to West Coast. Like the cruising there was just as fun. Yeah.
It's taking that even in these, small town cruisings that I hop to, that I am able to make, just hopping in cars and riding down the interstate to cruise to a Harbor Freight parking lot or a Dairy Queen parking lot. Yeah. Just that ride there is a lot of times just cool, riding with one of my friends in a OBS Chevy, looking over and seeing Psycho hitting switches on the interstate, scraping down I-75.
Yep.
You're like, it's just the cool stuff like that. Another person that's in the community down here who you may or may not have heard of is Josh Rowan with the twin turbo Suburban.
Yeah.
Snooky. Yeah. He's good people too, and the stuff that's coming out of his shop it's on point.
Well, y'all aren't too far from lower class either.
No, we're pretty close to a lot of people. I mean, it's the stuff in South Georgia is actually it's pretty sick. So I know a lot of the shops around here are trying to kind of amp up and pretty much get us on the map of, hey, you can bring your stuff here. It's almost like a one-stop shop. It's, hey, go get your rendering done by Josh Rowan.
Yep.
Right down the road, you can get your interior done by Gary Pounds. If you want air ride, go to lower class. If you want hydraulics, go to Psycho. And then with the paint and body on Psycho, it's South Georgia is if you got some patience and some money, you can get some nice stuff built down here.
Well, the people in South Georgia are great. I mean, I used to make a trip up there. Shoot, it's probably been, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. Well, no, me and my wife have been together for 5, so probably closer to 10 years ago. I used to come up there and just go get Dick's Wings and Baxley's.
Man, I think our Dick's Wings here in Valdosta closed down, but they also opened up right next door to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I used to go up there. Had some friends up there, and oh man, you got to come up and have Dick's Wings. I am like, screw you, you're funny. That's a good joke. No, you got to come up here. And I went up there. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good wings.
They're a good hit. I wish the one here hadn't closed down.
But I think most of them's closed now.
I think either there may be 1 or 2 left, but I know I haven't seen one with my own eyes in a while.
Because there was one in Jacksonville. It's gone. I know the one in Hazelhurst and Baxley are both gone, I think, if I remember. Yeah,
they may have just all shut down. I know the Hooters here just shut down too. I think they filed bankrupt or something like that.
Yeah, they were building a Hooters in the Villages, the retirement community that's like right close to us, and it's stalled. I'm like, oh. Even old people don't even want to go to Hooters anymore. Wow.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing was just a bunch of old men.
That's what I was like, this is your target audience.
You got a bunch of old, retired,
Yeah.
rich people
Yep.
that are just sitting there ready to go look at some Hooters.
So, a little bit about, obviously I want to extend an invitation to you and anyone else you want to bring down for the hangout. It's January 3rd, Big Daddy Don Garlett's Museum, right there in Bellevue, Florida. Pre-registration's $25. Day of is going to be $25 as well. Pre-registration gets you a little goodie bag. Should be some awesome vendors on site with awesome cars. Anyone that's interested in being a vendor, it's the $25 because you're just paying for a parking spot for your car. If you're bringing a car, you obviously can set up a tent, sell merch, whatever you need to do. There'll be food trucks. Basically, you're hanging out in Don Garlett's, or in front of Don Garlett's garage. You get a discount into the museum with car show entry.
Yeah. Now, do y'all do any like raffles or giveaway prizes?
So last year we did raffles. This year we have a couple people that are coming, and the way that they want to do it is more of a silent auction because they're not like $10 items. This year's show benefits Spreading the Love, which is Sean Rose with Rose Metalworks. He does beadroll art. So like the Maggie Valley show, Mini Nats, he was at Battle of Bama. Matter of fact, Psycho rolled a panel with him in Battle of Bama.
Yeah, I think I seen Psycho post a video with it.
Yeah, so he quit his job, and he is now a full-time Eastwood tool rep, demonstrator, instructor. So he has an enclosed trailer full of beadroll and CNC, or not CNC. I guess it is CNC. Etching tools, and he unloads them and allows people to mess with them, shows them how to use the tools, and bead rolls on site.
Oh, heck yeah. I wouldn't mind meeting up with him.
So, and he, like I said, it's his, Spreading the Love is for cancer. His wife passed away from breast cancer. So he did the nonprofit for that. That's who all of the proceeds, and no, we don't make any money at the show. All of the money goes to, it's a nonprofit show. People think that we're making a whole bunch of money. I guarantee we're not.
That's like I said, everyone I know that actually puts on like good, heartfelt shows always goes in the negatives.
Well, and it's, obviously I don't want to go in the negative, but to me, and we struggled while we were putting it together because it was like, we're not going to get this money back, and, we're not rich, and, we're struggling with and stressing and everything like that. And finally, like about a week before, I told my wife, Ashley, I said, screw it. I'm going to have a good time. If people show up and they don't have a good time, that's on them, because it's going to be a good time. And it ended up, we had 80 cars for our first show, which was great. I think we ended up losing like $300 total, which was fine.
Which still isn't a bad loss.
No, which was fine. I wasn't mad or anything like that. But the people that came actually like gave a fuck about the car community. It wasn't the people that are just sitting there like, tell me my car's beautiful and give me my $5 plastic trophy. Like these guys, they were talking.
The old guy with the jean shorts and the knee-high socks and a stock Corvette.
And we had, it was awesome because, mainly we mess with old stuff. So, Ashley's 54 is a original paint, patina. It's got rust, still has a 235, does have an S10 5-speed and S10 rear end, and there's a small block sitting out there for it that'll eventually make its way in it if she decides she wants to build the car. But right now, my Model A is the one that's the money pit. And it's slammed on its ground, all hidden suspension. Can't really tell how it got there. That's part of what me and Psycho are working on figuring out how to get the front to do what we want it to do without being exposed.
Yeah. He's a freaking wizard when it comes to this stuff.
And I guess now it's going to be sort of a custom. So I wasn't going to paint it. It was going to be more leaning on the rat rod type build. But now that it's going out there, I got to make it a little nicer. And the fact that, I'm driving it the 2,600 miles one way, it's got to be a little more reliable than was previous. But
heck yeah. I can't wait to see it, man.
So,
especially when you beat all the other guys in your competition.
Attaboy. I know Psycho's coming down. I think he says he has to paint something. Maybe in a couple weeks. If you're around, man, come on down. Hang out. I'll throw some burgers on the grill or something.
Yeah, that's the plan. On a side note, I recently purchased a cheap little tractor for just fixing up some of my land. And down in Lakeland, Florida,
okay,
there's a parts tractor that I'm putting money aside for and trying to go down there and rob some parts off of it. Been talking with that guy, so if it lines up.
If you're going to Lakeland, you're going to drive pretty much right by my house from your house. So.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have to stop by and just hang out in person some more.
Yeah, definitely. So, tell us about your show. We've talked about mine. Let's talk about yours.
So my car show is I'll give a little history on how I got into doing the car shows. Is senior year in high school, ran for class president as a joke. If you look up my name on YouTube, you'll see me on a four-wheeler cutting donuts, saying vote Dalton class president. Was not expecting to wake up the next day and they say, hey, you're class president. I was like, shoot, this is, lifetime responsibility. I got to plan reunions and do all that. Well, me being around Psycho and around people like Josh Rowan who were heavily into the car scene, I was like, well, let's do a benefit car show at the high school. And all the money we make will go to a scholarship fund. Got it approved by the Board of Education, did it, massive show. I mean, it was 300 plus cars, $7,000. It was $50 shy of $7,000 for a scholarship fund for all the seniors.
Awesome.
And we really didn't go much money out of pocket. We had the ag class has a CNC machine, so we cut our school mascot was a hornet. We had hornets on plates, and we had the art class paint them. We had the graphic design class make the flyer, and just any school resource we could use, we put 100% of the school into it. So we got the entire school involved in it. Massive show, had great sponsors, and it was just a really good show. People still talk about it. And then I graduated, and they dropped it. They just didn't want to continue letting it ride because I had already talked to some of the underclass kids that were in the cars. And I was like, hey, here's my number. You know me personally. If you need help with making this annual event, let's do it. And they dropped it. So I was like, well, dang. And in Barney, Georgia, it's got one stop sign in the whole town. One of those little, if you blink, you're going to miss it. But there's an old peach shed there. They sell produce and homemade ice cream. I mean, you can get homemade peach, blueberry. They even make the actual homemade vanilla ice cream. And it's a cool little spot. And the man and woman who own it, they already have, dang near, you name it, it's out there classic-wise as just decoration. So I stopped there one day and pitched the idea to her about doing a benefit car show there because I'm not really looking to make any money. money will come when it comes.
Yep.
I was like, hey, let's help some people out or donate it or do something. This is a passion of mine. So did it there the first year. I think we had right at 50, anywhere from 50 to 80 cars because there was people coming and going. And we made like $2,200 and we donated it to a family that has 2 kids with a disease called Friedrich's Alzheimer. And it's pretty much where your joints pretty much become unusable. The kids are going to be in wheelchairs before they hit their teens. And donated that to them. And then the next year we did it. It was I think like 83 cars is what we had there, but there was 100 there. There was 100 vehicles there, just only 83 registered. And everyone was like, well, what are we doing the money for this year? And we decided to send it to the Shriners Hospital down in Tampa because I know a lot of people personally that were helped out by the Shriners growing up. You know, some of my friends were born with cleft lips and the Shriners stepped in and paid 100% of the surgery. So we sent all the money to that and the show's taken off since then. So this year in July, I believe we settled on July 19th. I can pull the flyer up. Yeah, it's Saturday, July 19th. It's from 8 in the morning to 12 in the afternoon. It's the 3rd annual Burton Brooks Car Show. We're doing giveaways. And we actually had some of the head Shriners from, actually, it's Florida, Georgia, and I believe North Carolina has reached out, and they're wanting to get the actual Shriners organization to back the show. So they're going to come down and give us, you know, bigger, better giveaways. They're going to bring the Shriner little, like, dirt bikes, or not dirt bikes, the little go-karts they drive in parades.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to bring those, and just a lot of these guys are older and they have classes of their own. So we're estimating around 150 to 200 vehicles registered this year. But it's the way it's looking. It's going to be a pretty nice show. And I only charge, it's $25 to register. We do car length raffles. We do a bunch of the local businesses. They'll donate, you know, gift cards, Yeti cups, coolers. We go to O'Reilly's and AutoZone and get wash buckets. Usually they give us 2 or 3 of those each. We give away the wash buckets and we just hang out and have a good time. And it's in the front, it's pecan trees, so you can park in the shade. There's big fans out there, and if you get too hot, you go over and get you a nice homemade ice cream, and it's just a really good show. No one makes any money on it. Like I said, well, you get $600 out of my own pocket, and that's not counting all the other people that donated everything. I mean, a lot of people don't realize when you do a show, it's got to buy trophies. You got to take time to go and promote it. And I mean, if you want to really get it out online, you pay for the sponsorships on Facebook, and it's sourcing the giveaways. A lot of the giveaways that people don't want to donate, I'll buy out of my own pocket just to turn around and give it away. So one thing I've been doing is hitting local antique shops and flea markets, swap meets, and just finding cool one-off stuff. Be like, hey, that'd be a cool giveaway. You know, buy it real quick and turn around, sit it in my shed, and when the show comes around, I give it away. But hopefully it's going to continue growing. I'm sure you know, doing your show, how hard it is to get everything legit to actually set up and then explain to people what a car show actually is.
Yeah.
I've had people gripe about, oh, well, why didn't I get a trophy? I'm like, I don't do nothing special. It's just top 25 and then one best of. So it's 26 possible trophies. I'm not doing best Ford, best Chevy, best Jeep. I don't do none of that. And I tell them, like, I hire a couple people that I pay out of my pocket to come and judge. So there's nothing biased about it, because if it was up to me, anything slammed or lowered would get everything. So I get people come out there, and we have a bunch of cool stuff. We have, of course, the purists that show up, and it's just a bone stock 66 Mustang, which it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool. Not my cup of tea, but it's a lot of people's cup of tea. So they get recognized, and then heck, I even had a row of squatted trucks there, and one of them actually got, a trophy because it was just how the judge went over there and saw and was like, "Hey, this is really nice." So I don't discriminate to anybody. Trucks, cars, motorcycles, lifted, lowered, squatted, hydraulics, air ride, show up. We had a golf cart there last year, and it was lifted, custom painted, had audio on it, custom upholstery, a really badass golf cart. And everyone's like, "Can I put this in? Can I put that in?" I'm like, "Look, you can go and get a Nissan Altima right off the lot and drop it to my show. I'm not going to turn you down." But it's like the plan with every show. It just keep getting bigger and better till eventually we got to, go rent an arena out.
Yeah, we don't even do a top 25 or anything at our show. We give away 3 awards: podcast choice, which we got a little hate for last year, but I know what the truck, podcast pick is not just the car, it's the story. And it went to a Cummins Swap 53 Meadowbrook that was done in 4 days. And she drove it across the show field with a shoestring throttle. So, lady owned. My wife picks a car that is either lady owned or lady driven. And then longest distance. And then
Thank you.
If you're a car club, build a trophy, bring it. If you're a sponsor for the show or an advertiser on the podcast, build a trophy, come give away your pick. That way, at the end of the day, you can't be mad at me because, like you said, if it's up to me to pick a top 25, y'all are going to be mad because it's not going to be your... Because I'm more interested in the stories,
Yeah, that's hanging around these car shows, even some of these stock vehicles, it was, my dad had it, I went off to college and it stayed at home, and I finally got to where I settled down, and I went out there and fixed it up with my son, and just stuff like that I hear a lot is really nice. I wish my dad had kept some of the stuff he grew up in, because I'm like, "Dad, that car is like, going across the block for $100,000 right now." And he's like, "Yeah, well, everyone makes mistakes."
Yeah, we're not allowed to watch Meekum in my mom and dad's house because my mom will see a car going. Didn't we have that car? Yeah, we did. What? Yeah.
Yep. Some of the stuff my dad and my grandpa's had.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why did you get rid of that? Like my grandpa on my dad's side had a '69 Challenger or a Charger, and I was like, dude, what? You have like one of the most sought after cars. What happened to it? He's like, I got in a police chase one night, and I lost it. I ended up getting it.
But at that time, you could still go buy that car for $1,000.
Yes.
I was talking to somebody over and when we were out in Cali, I was talking to somebody, and he's like, "Yeah, I asked him, so what do you got?" And he said, "I just got that custom. It was a '53 Buick Custom." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a beautiful car." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It hurt my feelings when I had to go buy it. When I had to buy the original car." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I had one of those. That's why I wanted to build one." He goes, "And I paid $23 for it." He goes, "I didn't pay $23 for that one." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I remember you used to go pick up cars for, $100 or mow the grass a couple of times." And I'm like, those deals were great. Unfortunately, we don't have them now.
Well, it's like I said with my boat tail that I got. I literally went to the bank and got a $4,000 loan to go get it. And don't get me wrong, it runs and drives, but it needs all interior. It needs the motor it needs to be ran back through and buttoned up. I got to go full custom interior because good luck getting original parts for, reasonable money. But everyone was like, why are you getting that? I'm like, look, even if I get it and it sits in the yard for another 10 years and I don't do nothing with it, that car is going up in value. It's so hard to get anything classic or custom right now that I'm one of those. I'm going to hop on whatever I got to hop on to get it because, like I said, that was my dream car. So it didn't hurt my feelings going to sit at the bank and say, hey, I need a loan for $4,000. And I'm still paying on it. But
and it probably didn't hurt their feelings when they knew you were going to buy it.
Yeah. It's funny on that is when I sat down my loan officer, because I had got another personal loan because right before Helene hit, I had a pine tree by my house that I needed to cut down. And I didn't have $2,000 to get it cut down. So I went and got a loan for that. And they're like, well, Mr. Sumner, you already have a loan right now. I'm like, look, like this is car's worth money. And the actual head bank guy come in and he knew what kind of car it was. And he had one back in the day. And he was like, oh, wow, I used to have one. That's a beautiful car. He said, them things are worth money right now. I'm like, yes, sir. And he was like, how much is that one you're going to get? And I showed him pictures of it. And I said, $4,000. He said, yeah, you're getting your money today. And I was like, cool. Yep, let's sign the paperwork. And I went and met the guy. He was in Rockmart, Georgia. Woke up real early. Went. I just been throwing a couple $100 extra to the side and paying on the loan. And when the loan gets paid off, it's time. I'm gonna make hopefully I can get some sponsors under my belt. And but if not, cool. It is what it is. And I'm just gonna. You saw Psycho's car in person. It's going to be right on par with that. Psycho even said, man, I think the paint job you're going to go with is going to be crazier than mine. I was like, I like it though. It's something about being that kid, because I'm only 20 years old, and being that kid that is rolling through this little country town hitting switches with a custom paint job. Mm-hmm. It's funny seeing the old people be like, oh, you ruined it. I'm like, did I though?
And it's different. It's like my Model A. It's not being built like a traditional Model A. But I'll be able to stick it at ride height, and it'll look like a hot rod. Then I'll be able to lay it on the ground, and people can figure out how it got there. And it's you got to do what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, it's your car. And, my buddy Tyler with Why Not Fab, he has a sticker that says not built for your approval, or not built to your standards, that it fits mine or whatever. And, that's the thing is it doesn't have to be everybody's cup of tea. It just has to be yours.
Yeah, man. So I even do a little bit of paint and body on the side. It's just just still my passion. I did it with Psycho for so long. Eventually I did get a corporate job, and I work it's not a 9 to 5, it's a 2:30 to 11. But I needed something more consistent than commission based work.
Yeah.
But I still go over and hang out with Psycho, and I do the little paint and body on the side. And everyone's like, "Well, what color do you think?" And I'm like, well, if it was me, I'd paint it hot pink with flames on it. I was like, I mean, if you want it, build it your way. If you want it, solid black, cool, do it. If you want it, custom pink with flames, we can do that too. Build it for you.
That's another thing is some people are, some people get stuck on a color. And
yeah, so I've seen a few guys,
it's got to be this color. And it's like, that car would have looked better this way. But it's not it's not my car. It's your car. So you paint it whatever you want.
Like I was heading into, I seen a guy fell in love with the color. Now, when his car got painted that color, it rolled out, and he was like, I don't like it. And I was like, what don't you like about it? Is there something wrong with the paint? He's like, no, the paint's phenomenal. It's just, I don't like the color. I'm like, dude, you were stuck on this color for months. You loved it. Mm-hmm. Like, we had to get it, custom ordered for you. And he's like, Yeah, I don't like it. He ended up selling the car just over the color.
The new Corvette ZR1, the orange one, that orange color, it's
yeah.
it's absolutely stunning in pictures. In person.
Now, when you were at Psycho Shop, did he show you that door that had the Lamborghini orange pearl on it?
Yes.
That color I fell in love with too.
But that color, the ZR1 color, in pictures, it looks amazing. I seen one in person.
It flopped.
It's more of like a copper. And what's funny is the new co-host for Hometown Hot Rodder said the exact same thing. And I couldn't put my finger on why I didn't like it until she said it. And I was like, that's exactly it.
It's a lot of colors are like that. That's why we really try to hammer into people, get a spray out, see the color in person, in the sunlight, make sure that's what you want. Because at the end of the day, I'm not driving your car. I'm not driving your vehicle.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Make sure you are in love with it. My car is going to be hot pink, neon blue, purple, yellows. It's going to be fades in it. And people are like, why are you doing that? I'd paint it. They look good murdered out black. I'm like, yeah, they really do. But I want this, so I'm going to do that.
But there's a bunch of black ones.
Yeah, there's.
That's the thing is you kind of get, if you want to build, especially something that's going to stand, or a custom build, it's fine to go subtle on some things, but other things you got to go a little wild to kind of separate yourself because you don't want it to fit.
That's me. I'm going to be teetering that line of, but that's me.
Yep.
I like doing against the grain, just wild. And when I get the rendering, you a snippet of the rendering, and you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is gonna come out of South Georgia.
Hell yeah, man. So before we get out of here, what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody that's trying to get into this car culture?
Piece of advice, man, it'd have to be just try your best to show up. Like, even with me not being able to make these big shows, make your local stuff. Make the drive a couple counties over to that cruise in, and just show up and walk around and talk to people. Most people in the car community are good, down to earth people. I mean, there's been people that I've met, at shows, at cruise-ins, going on my own, and they're friends now. And don't be afraid just because you're young to show up and pull your truck up or pull your car that's, only got, bolt-on parts. Like, no one's gonna really judge you. I mean, my daily driver's a 05 Silverado. It's got a small lift kit on it and all, but I pull that thing up with no shame with a leaking rear main seal and pull up and I park next to people, and I've been parked next to some supercars. I've been parked next to hot rods. I've been parked next to Psycho, and no one really cares. You just get out and be a good person, and good things will come to you. I mean, like I said, just show up and don't be afraid to get your name out. I mean, even if you're just a, hey, I like cars kind of person, cool. That's why we're here. We all like cars. So yeah, my biggest piece of advice is just show up, make the support. The bigger shows will come, like you mentioned. If the time ain't right, the time ain't right. But we do a bunch of little shows here. Psycho was talking about his Toys for Tots cruise. Mm-hmm. We're not the only ones that do benefit shows like that. So join your local Facebook groups of car groups and cruise ins and swap meets. You go out there and meet car people. Just show up and be a good person, and you'll go far in this community. That's what I've learned from a lot of people.
Hell yeah. Well, before I run through our sponsors and advertisers, is there anybody that you'd like to give a special shout out to?
Of course, I mentioned his name, throughout this podcast so many times. Psycho Simmons, Gary Pounds, Sinister Stitches, Upholstery, Josh Rowan Concepts. He's your go-to for renderings. Lower class fab, you know, that's good people over there. I mean, and then me, Dalton Sumner, you know, find me on Instagram and Facebook. Just type in my name, you'll see me on there. You know, weird looking, curly haired South Georgia dude.
Hell yeah.
And then shout out to you, man. I mean, I really appreciate you having someone like me coming on this podcast.
This is what it's all about, though, dude. It's not, and that's, you know, I would anyone that you just said, they're more than welcome to come on. Me and Brandon's been trying to get together for a while, but you know, like you said, it doesn't always work out. He's been within like 20 minutes of the house and didn't realize it, and then, oh man, I wish I'd have known. He's like, yeah, me too. So, yeah. But any of those guys, man, I'd love to have them on. But it's also the little guys, man, or littler guys, because sometimes the inspiration doesn't come from, you know, the Ken Daggetts, the Boyds, the guys that are like us. You know, like, I don't have a fancy shop, I don't have fancy tools. I'm just out doing. You know, me and my wife always joke, I'm just a podcaster with a dream. I'm gonna have a cool car. That's it, you know. So
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what a lot of people need to realize. Yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable guy when it comes to cars. I just know I like them.
Yeah.
I know I can't tell you what kind of setup Psycho's going to put on my car. I mean, I'll learn when it's done, but I can't sit here and shoot out the specifics or the specs for an engine build.
I could probably take a guess because 2 pump,
like I said, he's
2 pump, 3 dump, 12 volt system. Unless you're trying to hop.
I have no problem with that. no hopping.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, up, down, side to side. That's all I want.
Yep.
That's it. And he's like, cool, we can do that.
Yep.
But yeah.
Pretty much his
definitely
system,
try to get a hold of some of them other guys I mentioned. They're all good people, man.
Yeah.
I don't really surround myself with no one negative. So
yes, sir.
They're good people.
Well, before we get out of here, make sure you go check out Why Not Fab on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you go to Throttle Addict, use the code word Hot Rod, you get save 15% off. Johnny Jalopy, Facebook, YouTube, JohnnyJalopy.com. He did last year's Hangout graphic, and he will hopefully be doing the 2026 one as well. Low Income Clothing, Low Income Photo on Facebook and Instagram. And make sure you go show some love to Wrenching for the Future, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, trying to get kids back into the car shop. All right, man, I appreciate you coming on. Till next time, guys.
Yes, sir.
Get out and drive your shit. Later.